things I do to help the community is I go around to all the commercial businesses, restaurants, schools, churches, and I do fire safety inspections to check and make sure that each building is safe. I'll check the doors to make sure that the doors will open, so if you need to get out in an emergency. I'll check the sprinkler systems in the rooms, which are these little things hanging down from your ceiling up here, to make sure they're working properly. So in case there's a fire, those things activate and they'll help put the fire out. I check to make sure all the aisleways are open, make sure people aren't doing anything unsafe. So if you're out shopping or anything like that, you're shopping in a safe building. I also look at all the commercial businesses that are being built while they're under construction to make sure that they're built properly, they're built safely. A lot of what I do is, like I say, I try to prevent the fire from starting. We have a group of firemen that put the fire out once it starts, but I try to stop the fires from ever starting to begin with. I also do some fire safety education. Did y'all go to the clown show this year when the clowns came? Y'all remember seeing me?
Yeah.
I was Astronaut Bob, remember?
Yeah.
So I go to schools and I teach kids about fire safety. I also teach adults about fire safety. Another thing I do is I help plan emergency evacuations. So like when y'all do your fire drills and stuff like that, a lot of time I'll come by and I'll watch your fire drill just to see if everything's real good or if there's anything that can be changed to make it better. Like I say, I'm in charge of the inspectors that work for the fire marshal's office. Like I said, we try to make the building safe. We try to prevent the fires from starting to begin with. You know, a lot of the firemen, they get the fame and glory and everything like that. But I like to think that I save lives too, but there's no data that can be gathered by how many lives that were saved by a fire that never started to begin with. So that's pretty much what I do. And when I ask people to do things or correct things that are wrong, if they won't do it, I am able to write citations for that. And my citations are just like speeding tickets that police officers get. If they don't take care of their citations, they can be arrested and warrants out for their arrest, and they can be arrested till they get everything taken care of. So that's what I do to make the community safe. Does anybody have any questions?
What does their badge represent?
Excuse me?
What does their badge represent?
My badge represents the job that I have. It's kind of an identification. As you can see, it has my title on it and who I work for.
Do you have to go to any meetings?
I go to meetings every day. In fact, I've got a meeting to go to after I leave here. One of the meetings that we do every Wednesday, we all meet at City Hall, the fire marshal's office, building official, engineering, planning and zoning. We all meet, and if anybody is looking to open a business in town, they can come and visit with us and say, I would like to open this business in this part of town. What do I need to do? So before they actually spend any money or do any kind of building, we can tell them up front what they're going to need, and that way they can determine if this is what they want to do. Or, as we say, the planning and zoning people are here. Different parts of the town are zoned for different businesses. So like, you don't want to have a big loud foundry right next door to your house, would you? Because it'll keep you up all night long. Well, we regulate where those loud businesses are located so they're not bothering people.
How long have you been working at the job?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been working at
I've been a fire inspector since 1996, so that's what, about 17, 18 years?
Yeah.
But I've been in the fire service since 1987. So I've been doing this longer than y'all been alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you pick this job?
Well, for one thing, my dad was a fireman. I wanted to be like my dad. And in the 1970s, there was a TV show called Emergency. They were talking about the Los Angeles County firemen and the paramedic program. It looked great, I wanted to do it, so that's why I'm here. And I've always wanted to do things to help people. It's a joke.
Where did you learn those skills?
I had to go to school. I had to go take a fire academy, which was about 600 hours worth of school. I go to specialized training, like I'll go to a class on sprinkler systems or fire alarms or something that I need to learn at my job. And in order to maintain my certification as a fire inspector, I have to have 20 hours of continuing education every year. So I'm always going to school. Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever work with kids?
I am right now. And like I said, I was astronaut Bob this year for the clown program. And I do go to different schools and daycares and stuff, and I'll speak to them about fire safety. Yes, sir.
What do you do to in the community?
Well, I speak to kids. I do education classes for people. Like I say, I wear a uniform every day. I have a bunch of meetings a day. Is why I'm dressed up all fancy. Normally, I'm just in, just a regular shirt with my badge on. But while I'm wearing that uniform, I represent the city. So I have to, really, behave myself, do the right, excuse me, and do the right thing, because if I'm out doing something I shouldn't do and I'm wearing the uniform for the city, it makes not only my coworkers look bad, it makes the whole city look bad. Yes, sir.
What did you think your job would look like?
What did I think my job would look like? Well, to begin with, I thought it was going to look like that show Emergency, but it was nothing like that. When I got into it and really started learning what it was like actually doing it instead of watching it on TV, it's completely different. Stuff on TV is scripted. They know exactly what's going to happen on TV. The job I have now, you never know what you're going to walk into sometimes. Even doing my job, some business owner may be having a bad day, and you're just the last person he wants to see walking into his business telling him he needs to fix stuff. So I've had 1 year where I've had one particular business owner that's been just the most pleasant person to walk with. This year I walked in, and you would have thought I was an evil man the way he treated me, just because he was having a bad day, and I was just the last person he wanted to see. So, you never know what you're going to walk into. I've walked into businesses and talked to people, and they passed out on me, and I've had to stop and call the ambulance out. And like I said, you never know what you're going to walk into sometimes out here. Yes, ma'am.
How do you keep people safe from fire?
Well, I keep people safe from fires because I try to keep the fires from starting to begin with. Like I say, in your classroom, you've got these sprinkler systems up here that if there's ever a fire in your classroom, heat will activate that sprinkler head and it'll start spraying water out. And while it's spraying the water out, it's stopping the fire in this particular room, which slows it down to where it gives y'all more of a chance to get out and get outside. And it also keeps the fire in here so it doesn't get out in the hallway to keep all the other kids from being able to get out safely. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
How did you get that job?
I had to apply a lot of times. This is a job that a lot of people want to get into, and so you need to get an education, for one thing. You have to apply for the position when it becomes open, and then you have to take an academic test just to test your knowledge and stuff. So you need to stay in school, you need to pay attention to what the teachers are saying, and you need to learn and retain that. Because a lot of things on that test don't have anything to do with fighting fires, but yet they want to know an overall person. They want to make sure that you're a smart person and you're able to think on your feet. Because a lot of times when you're in an emergency situation, you have to think fast, and it has to be right. Because sometimes there may not be a chance to go back and rethink it if you think the wrong thing. You also need to pay attention to math. Because one of the jobs I used to have before I came an inspector was I drove the fire trucks. And when I got to the fire, I had to actually operate the water pump on the engine to get water in the hose, so the firemen going into the house fires had water to put it out. And you have to know algebra to figure the friction loss, which is basically, you have to know how high you need to set the pressure at the pump to go through all the hose and connections and everything, that you have the proper pressure at the end of the hose. So you have to sit there and think math in your head. Anybody else?
I think we've about covered it. Oh,
Have
Meadow.
another one?
Yes. What if there is a jam in the fire hose and it's clogged up?
Then you need to grab another hose. There's usually what they call pre-connects on the engine, which is 200 feet of hose that are already connected. They're already connected to the engine. So all you have to do is just reach up there and grab that bundle of hose and pull it off the engine, and then you can drag it to the fire. But we check the hose every day, so if there ever is a clog in the hose, somebody didn't do their job right.